G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So previously on this channel, I've done some war videos, done a lot of war videos actually. But in this new alliance, IBRG, because I'm on the same path for the whole season, I'm on path 9 this whole season. A lot of the fights can be pretty similar. So I've decided for at least this season, maybe for a few seasons after this as well, I'm going to be doing like weekly war highlight videos. So I'm just going to get a few of the fights that I really want to show you guys and put those together in a video across the 3 wars. So I've got some cool fights. They're pretty much, I think they're all hazard shift fights, but I got some really cool ones. I'll have timestamps to them all in the description below. They're all tier 2 wars, I believe, as well. But there's some really cool fights. You've got a one-eye open bishop with Omega Red. There's a stun immune hazard shift eye doom. It's the first time I've ever fought an eye doom in war. I used Kingpin for that as a Nick as well. A couple other fights. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so this is the first war of the season, I believe. We got a bishop here. Like I said, this is in the section 2 of path 9. So we've got hazard shift, shock bleed, and also one eye open. So Omega actually is a pretty good bishop counter because he can let the degen and the spores do a lot of work. But with one eye open, it's quite tricky because you can't really parry him at all because he's going to be taking damage all the time. So whenever you parry, you're going to be taking all that degen back. So we have to do this fight without parrying at all. Now, I did some practicing against this guy and I figured, I found out that you can actually heavy counter the first hit of his heavy. But we're not going to do that while the shock part of the hazard shift is up. We're going to wait for the bleed. And obviously the bleed is great for Omega because he can just take no damage from that with 1 point in coagulate, and it activates his death field, which is great for us. So we get a few hits in there while the bleed part is up and gets up to 15 spores. It goes down a bit. Now we want to just keep him close to us as possible while the shock is up without landing a hit. And unfortunately we do back off a bit and we lose all our spores, but we get a nice, mostly good dex to that special 2. And we want to hit into his... We don't really want to hit into his block because that's going to regen him, but we really just want to build the spores up as much as possible during the bleed part. He somehow light intercepts us there. And here, yeah, it comes back to shock now, so we still want to just maintain the spores as much as we can without parrying him. I mean, it's probably okay to parry him while he has not many spores, but I didn't want to risk it really. He throws a special 1 there, so that's going to activate his steady release, which is going to incinerate us. But we throw a special 3. I think we didn't quite have too many spores. We only had a few, but this is going to give us a bit of healing and take his power down a little bit, which is good. And it is in the bleed part now, so but we do have to watch out for that incinerate. So I decided we're pretty low on health actually, only 40%. I decided just to wait out. It is in the shock part as well, which is good now. We just want to back away while that steady release is active, so we don't get incinerated at all. And it's good, I think it was well timed that it was during the shock part, so we don't have to worry about that. So now it's back in bleed. I didn't quite get the heavy counter in. You can really do it. You can do it. I just didn't get it really fast enough. You have to be really precise with your timing, heavy countering the first hit. But he does go down eventually. And then we do have another Omega Red fight straight after this actually. Yeah, so this is just going to be the complete opposite for Omega Red. This is going to be a walk in the park because Korg is, well, I still think Omega Red is the best Korg counter in the whole game. I know some people would disagree with that. You know, there's Pryde, there's still Ghost, there's other champions that do Korg really well. But I still think Omega, if you're a really good Omega player, he's the best Korg counter in the game, I still think. And it still has a shift shock bleed. He has actually shrug a parry when he has 7 spores, which is pretty unlikely. And we just want to wait out the shock part. We're in bleed now, so we can get a few hits in, get the rock shield down. Not that Omega really cares about the rock shield when he has 10 spores, because his medium attacks, they completely ignore the rock shield damage, and with 10 spores, Korg ain't shrugging anything. So we're back in shock now. I probably could have landed 1 heavy, and like at the worst, we would have taken 2 shocks, but that's really unlikely. So it's probably, maybe if I did the fight again, I would have just tried to throw 1 heavy just to get the spores locked on. Because when we are in the bleed part and we do get bleeds on us, we do heal quite a bit anyway. So we can heal some of that damage back at least. So we didn't quite get the heavy in quick enough, but we are at 17 spores. I decided to throw a heavy there, and that gets 1 shock on us, but still worth it, I think, to lock the spores on. Okay, so now we're on the boss island now. Believe it or not, this is actually the first time I've ever fought a Quicksilver in war. because I did take quite a long break last year, and Quicksilver, well, he sort of came out at the start of that break, but oh no, it might have been after a month after or something. But yeah, so Hazard Shift and Stun Immunity. So Kingpin is a great option for this because with the Hood synergy, we can basically purify any debuff, but we do have to be mindful of there is a 0.5 second cooldown, so we can't. So sometimes if we shrug a debuff and we get a debuff on the next hit, we won't shrug it. But when we do get to 8 debuffs, of course, we get shrug all the debuffs and we go overpower. So we want to get as many overpowers as we can. We also get overpowers from his Whiplash debuffs from Dexing, so that just feeds our overpower buffs. And you can see we're hitting like an absolute truck now, and we're up to 2 now. I think we've almost got 3 overpower buffs. In fact, we do have 3 now, and the special 2 hit for a lot of damage. And we can just easily just block that while we're unstoppable and easily retaliate. It's such a quick fight. Kingpin is a monster and has a shift. I forgot about this fight. This was actually earlier in this war. This is section 1, node 22. We have a Nick Fury here, rank 4 of course. And so this has hazard shift and also I think insult to injury. So basically every debuff we have on us reduces our ability accuracy by 30%. And so that means whenever we have like 3 debuffs, we basically have no ability accuracy, which means we can't like parry at all. Which is very annoying. And also Nick is unsteady, so he benefits from the global. So for every debuff we have on us, we have a chance to glance. I think it's like 30% chance each. So it's going to be a slow fight, but we can try and just build up as many overpowers as we can. I don't know why I'm throwing the special 1. That's a very bad idea. I really should be sticking to throwing the special 2 for the unstoppable buff or the special 3. The special 1 isn't really going to do anything. And we are also running suicides as well. So this was the first ever war I've used Kingpin for hazard shift, and I definitely learned a lot that especially for fighting unsteady, you don't really want to throw the special 1 because it's not going to do anything. And I should have learned from that 2 special 1s ago, but I'm still throwing the special 1, and so don't laugh at me. So we made a heavy out there. There is also aggression prowess as well, so we obviously don't want him to throw a special 1 because, especially if it's unblockable, can do a lot of damage with prowess. So we do actually go for a special 2 here. That's going to give, we have 2 overpowers now, so that did a lot of damage. We didn't have any debuffs on us, so none of the hits glance, which is great. And here we just want to mostly, well, we don't want to wait out the Nick's degen completely because that will give him prowess. So we still want to hit him quite frequently so that he doesn't get too many prowess. We do actually land the degen there, which is lucky. And then we want to obviously push into a special 2, which we get there. He's at 30% now, so he's at the peak of his second life, 30%. And he is unblockable now, but we throw a special 1 just to push him into the second fury. And yeah, we took a lot of damage in this fight just because I threw way too many special 1s, and also we just couldn't parry, so we took a lot of block damage, but it did work in the end. Just cost a lot of potions. Okay, so I don't think I recorded too many interesting fights from War 2, so I think we're in War 3 now. And this is actually the same fight that we fought that Nick Fury on. This is node 22, so hazard shift, insult to injury, and aggression prowess. So we've got a Terrax here. Now this is also a very tricky matchup for Kingpin because not only does, well, mostly because Terrax benefits from the global node, but we obviously want to do basically the same thing that we did against Nick, which is just get as many overpowers as we can and don't throw special 1s. I said I learned from my mistakes in the first war, but obviously I didn't because I'm still throwing special 1s with the suicides on. But I've decided from now on I'm not going to really rely on suicides that much on Path 9, just because, I mean, it is good for certain champs like Ghost, Omega Red, Warlock, Nimrod, so champs like that. But with Kingpin, it's kind of tricky just because, yeah, you just throw a lot of specials, and even though you do have the hood synergy, you can take some damage over time if you are aggressive and you do take some debuffs before the cooldown. And also we have to be very careful of Terrax's rock field here. I think I use a special 1 here maybe just to back him away from us. We do have 7 debuffs on us now, and don't quite get to 8. But we get 8 there, so we go into a second overpower. That first one just wears off there. I want to get to another overpower. We want to really line up for a big special 2 here. So he does the indestructible, but we just get the indestructible away. throw a special 2 to get him away from us, and that does a decent amount of damage, but still a few hits did glance because he is unsteady. The rock field's expired now, so we can hit him freely, get rid of that prowess. I'm pretty comfortable at dexing his specials. I mean, the special one's easy to dex, but the special 2 can be a bit tricky with the timing. Want to ideally throw a special 2 when we have 2 overpowers and no debuffs, and that was great, and we got him down with a nice special 2 there. Okay, so heading into section 2 now, we have Pryde. So this is on the, it's like the shared fight right before section 2. So it's got Conflictor and Hazard Shift. So not many champs can actually do this very well. I think probably Nimrod and Warlock maybe are like the only decent options for Kitty here. War Machine could actually work as well, but yeah, Nimrod's definitely the best option. And we'll want to wait out the shock part of the Hazard Shift, wait for the bleed, because we are obviously bleed immune being a robot. And we do get bit trapped into the corner while that shock was active, or the shock phase was active. I forgot about the Conflictor there, so we got a few hits into us there. And she hit us a few times when she was phased, I think even. So yeah, it's not ideal start because we are trapped into the corner. I'm not sure what I could have done differently. Maybe just hit into a block a bit maybe during the shock part, but it is a bit tricky. But obviously one special 2 does get her down because Nimrod's OP. And then the next fight we have is also a Nimrod fight. I think straight after we have an Apocalypse. So just like that Bishop fight, this Apocalypse also has one eye open and has a shift. So Ghost would be ideal, but I think Ghost was banned in this war. So we are going to be using Nimrod. And obviously, Ghost couldn't have done that Kitty, I don't think, because she doesn't really have any way to. I mean, no, Ghost could have done that Kitty, yeah, because Ghost can cheese Hazard Shift. It just would have been a bit tricky dealing with her phase, but Ghost could have done it. But I think Ghost was banned, so we are going to be using Nimrod. Apocalypse, of course, is a mutant as well, so we can build up our charges pretty quickly. We want to obviously just parry him while the shock is active to build up our charges. Not going to hit him when he's stunned because that's going to reflect the damage back on us. Just wait out the shock part. Beta heavy here while he's in bleed. And I just want to build up to a special 2 here. That's going to ideally just get him down in one special 2. So get a heavy out of him there. And the shock's back on. The shock's back now. So I want to just bait a special 1 here ideally so we don't have to deal with that during the bleed part. That's going to be a time waster. So that special 1 ends just before the bleed comes back. I probably could have punished and got like 1 hit while shock was active, but it didn't really matter. We get a special 2 here, and the shock damage you can see is like 6,700 per tick from 1 shock, and it's just nuts. So Nimrod destroyed that fight. Okay, so 2 more fights for you today, guys. We got a thing here. This is the fight right after Apocalypse. So Hazard Shift, shock bleed, and also Nose of Steel. Now we have to be a bit careful here because we have to be really just aware of his protection, because with a few overpowers we can be triggering protection easily on our basic attacks, especially with running suicides, which we are doing at the moment. Now I'm pretty comfortable using Kingpin against Thing, or really using anyone versus Thing. Thing's been in the game for a while, so I'm very comfortable managing his rock stacks. We get him up to 15 there. He throws a special. We do trigger protection on our basic attacks, but even with protection we actually are dealing more damage than I thought we would. Now we hit him once there just to get them to 10, and then we can throw a full pivot combo there. So I think a good, if you're struggling with managing Thing's rock stacks, a good thing to practice is just doing shortened combos. Just do 1 hit, 2 hits, so you can really time or plan how you're going to get to 15, and then you can throw a special. I think if you can do that consistently enough, it goes a long way to knowing how to fight Thing properly. So we throw a special 3 there. That does trigger the protection, and also gets a pretty long stun on him. So I went for the special 3 because no recoil, and I think it would have done more damage than a special 2, because the special 2 he would have had protection up most of the time. So 9% now, we can just throw a few more hits. He does trigger protection again, even with 1 overpower, we're still triggering protection. So we do get a 16k medium there, I think, because of assassins. And then my last fight for this war was an iDoom. So this is the first ever time I fought an iDoom in war. So this is the same fight that we had that Quicksilver on. This is the Hazard Shift Mini. Stun immunity as well. Now, I'm pretty comfortable dodging iDoom's special 1. The special 2 actually isn't too hard to dex either, but I was more comfortable with the special 1 with this guy. I do pop some skill power boosts just because I had a few of them. I thought it might be handy. Whoops, I zoomed in there accidentally. And yeah, we do have a lot of health here, 70,000 health with our rank 4 Kingpin. And we are going to be going for special 3s. I could have probably gone for special 2s. That would have been good as well. But I think just because I still, yeah, he's a new champion, so I wasn't really sure about his aura and stuff. So I didn't want to throw a special 2 and then have him like block the end of it and retaliate. So I decided a special 3 would be safer. You can see we're hitting like a truck. 20 seconds in, he's already a third of the way down. Unfortunately, I said I was good at dodging the special 1, but we do get clipped by the end of that first one. And we do also have a combat regen boost as well, because I had a bunch of them, and they do help when you're running suicides, negate some of that damage. And we are able to heal, just passively heal over time with the rage debuffs here. He probably was despair, but it's still a bit of healing that we get there. So his aura is up right now, but the special 3 can ignore that, of course. So we do get the bonus damage there. I think we had 1 overpower, so not quite. Could have had more, definitely, but still better than nothing. Yeah, we had 1 overpower. And you get a special 1 out of him. It is unblockable, but yeah, I can dex it probably like 90 to 95% of the time perfectly, so it's not too bad. And actually, the stun immunity doesn't really have too much of an effect on this fight, because obviously Idom's medium, his first medium is non-contact, so you can't parry it anyway. So we really just want to bait out heavies and get a few intercepts in. We get a nice intercept there. Get a heavy out of him there. Probably could have gone for a special 2 here, because that could have blasted through his regen, but we didn't. He does activate the aura there, so yeah, we could have done it, but I still just I decided I'd rather play it safe. I'm just going to wait out the regen. We don't really have any way to deal with this regen. We don't have any way to nullify it or cancel it, or reverse it or anything. So we just have to wait it out. It does heal him for quite a lot, about 30% of his health, his modified health. But we throw another special 3 with an overpower, and that gets him down to about a third of his health. So it is a bit of a slow fight. There's other champs that could definitely do this quicker, but Kingpin is a very safe option for this fight. So 2 overpowers now, so we're going to be hitting really hard if we actually crit, which we're not at the moment. I'm not sure what Idoom's crit resistance is like. I don't think it's as strong as OG Doom's, but we just want to counter here with a special 1, and that degen's going to tick him most of the way down, actually. You see it's ticking for just under 1,000, and then 1 more hit finishes him off. So yeah, that was the first 3 wars of season 39. So let me know if you guys enjoyed all those hazard shift fights. Kingpin is a monster. He is still one of my newest rank 4s. I'm really happy to have him at rank 4. He's been amazing for Battlegrounds and Alliance War. I can't wait to use him for later on in the season for other fights. And yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed. I really like that Idoom fight, but probably my favorite fight was the Bishop fight with Omega Red. I think that was the most, like, I was the most worried about that fight out of all of them, but we did that one pretty well, I thought. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.